Hello there, and welcome to this one-shot video where I'll be drawing my favorite horse breeds as unicorns. I'm taking into account their history, breed, build, color, and more. I couldn't do every single breed of horse, there's more than 400 breeds, so I just picked from my favorites list. I also chose my favorite coat patterns, each unique for each unicorn. Not all of them will be accurate because I'm not an expert. I had fun with this, and I might draw a couple more realistic unicorns later on depending on how well received this video is. Subscribe if you'd like to see my take on realistic breeds of unicorn. Akhal-teke. This beautiful desert horse is supposedly descended from the Turkmenian horses. The tribes of Turkoman bred these horses to be swift and resistant to heat, and they used their mounts for raids and apparently even cited their pedigrees orally. They're praised for their endurance and speed and are well known due to their wonderfully shiny coats. This horse is literally classic unicorn style already. I drew my Akhal-teke horn, delicate and shiny, with a thin spike of a horn that reflects its speedy, sharp breed. I wasn't going to include magic with these unicorns, but I couldn't help but assign them a color and a bit of magic light around their horns. I think these beautiful creatures use their horns in battle and were trained by their breeders to deflect swords or hold hostages at horn point. Perhaps they also sharpen their horns on rocks and trees, priming the weapons for defense. Probably my second favorite horse is the Gypsy Vanner. These tough drafts were bred by the Irish and Romani travelers to pull caravans for wanderers. They're small for a draft breed, strong, and absolutely stunning. Because gypsy horses are considered a small draft horse, I gave this one a thick, uniquely shaped horn. All my draft horse unicorns are going to have super sturdy horns made to match their strength and large feet. It only makes sense if the gypsy corn were ever to use its horn in defense. Bearing down with the entirety of its weight onto a tiny horn would snap it off. I think this one turned out beautifully, and I tried to continue its coat pattern up the horn a bit. The horn is bone, but I like to think of it as having spots to match the skin around it. The huge Shire horse was a British breed of draught horse, and they were used in wars, carrying knights in armor. They also all but powered the industrial and agricultural work for over 250 years. Because Shires were bred for knights, I wanted to incorporate that. I chose a blue roan coat with black points, and I made its horn extremely bulky and downturned. I like to think these Shire corns were trained to stab and slash at enemies with its rider, or use their massive horn as a bludgeoning weapon, hence why I reinforced it with a downturning angle. Perhaps knights even coated the horn with its own armor or decoration or sharp blade to weaponize their mount's deadly attack. The Appaloosa is a stunning horse bred by the Nez Perce Native Americans. It is said that the horses originated from Spanish horses as well, and they are known for their gentle temperaments and striking coats. Appaloosa coats can range so much. There are blankets, full body patterns, patterns that vary to look like leopard spots. They're amazing. Appaloosas also have striped hooves, though the striped hooves only show with certain coat patterns. I decided to make my Appaloosa corn have striped hooves and a striped, beautifully curved horn. I added black points on the legs, horn, and muzzle to enhance its already striking appearance. The Arabian horse is a stunning, sturdy desert horse that has been the main ingredient to many of the most famous racing breeds today. I absolutely loved the book King of the Wind, which outlines the tragic story of the Godolphin Arabian sent from Morocco to France as a gift from the Sultan to the young king. The Arabian was bred in the Middle Eastern deserts and was prized as a war horse. The Arabian has a distinctly curved profile, and they were rather small. I gave this beautiful Arabian horn a Palomino coat color, and I modeled its horn after ancient Arab safes. I'm thinking if these Arabic horns were a part of our history, maybe the tribes of the Middle East modeled their swords after the weapons of their beautiful mounts. It'd be a neat way to plug them into the history of the Middle East. The Mustang. The Mustang is a symbol of, well, America. They also escaped the Spanish, much like Appaloosas, and went on to roam the Americas freely. They come in every coat color imaginable, and they're known for their intelligence, even temperament, and ability to be trained. Now, I am a super fan of Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron. I love that horse. I love the story, the animation, the music, the art, the backgrounds. I love that movie. He is my boy, and I reject Spirit riding free because, Now, originally I thought Spirit was a buckskin, but turns out he's a dun. I wanted to design this unicorn after my favorite ever Mustang, so I followed the dun coat patterns. There are so many, and all of them are so pretty. I settled on a golden coat with deep brown points and a dark mane and tail. Apparently dun coats can also have primitive markings such as stripes near the fading points, and it looks really cool. I gave the stallion a twisted, rough horn that looks a lot like a desert tree or a twisted antler, as these hardy horses lived among deer and buffalo. I'm still debating on whether or not it should be considered an antler or a horn. Let me know in the comments what it should be. Miniature horses were originally bred to be pets of the court in France. They also worked the North England mines later on, as small, strong horses were necessary for the cramped tunnels and heavy carts of coal. I gave my little minicorn a tiny horn to match its little body. I feel as though they were bred for their size, so the downsizing of the horn would be natural. Maybe some of them were born without horns. Now, hear me out. Small creatures are targeted by all sorts of predators, and many often use surrounding poisonous plants to fuel their own stores of venom. Maybe the minicorn eats a kind of poisonous flower, and the toxins are processed and stored just below or in the horn, like a nightshade flower. A tiny prick could cause sickness, and a stab could be fatal. A minicorn might need to wear a little leather cap to not accidentally nick people. If they're kept away from poisonous plants, I think their stores would run out and there would be no danger of stabbing. Also, I don't know if minis can be bay or not, but I chose a bay coat with a beautiful blanket on its hindquarters and a frosted mane and tail. I couldn't resist. I think she's a stunning queen. The Norwegian Fjord is one of the oldest ever horse breeds. All fjord horses look about the same due to strict breeding and isolation. These horses are sturdy and unique, and their manes grow stiff and short naturally, I believe. Norwegian Fjords are considered small draft, pack, and even saddle horses, and they have a hard-working temperament. Now, I was running out of horn ideas, and I knew I wanted to give this beautiful little horse a curved, sturdy horn. I ended up taking inspiration from ibex horns, giving it a rough outside and a sturdy base. I like to think that fjordicorns fight like the ibex as well, clashing their horns together and overpowering the other with pure strength, and if they were used in war, again, a bludgeoning weapon. I think it would be so cool if their owners painted their horns to mark them, thousands of years ago. This little cutie was by far one of my favorites to draw. Let me know in the comments what your favorite one is so far. So, I completely forgot to record my process of drawing this beauty, and I am mad. I had a hard time, and this was the last one I drew, and I wish I could have shown the process. Well, I'll play some cool horsey stuff while I talk about its history. The American paint was introduced by the Americas by Spanish explorers, and they were likely a mix of barb, Andalusian, and Arabian blood. I chose a beige Habano coat pattern, I really hope I named the correct one, and green as its accent. I also gave her a pronghorn-inspired horn, which makes me wish I'd done so for the other horses, just to make her unique. For my most favorite horse of all time, the Friesian. I took inspiration from this picture. I absolutely love it. Because Friesian is my favorite, I gave him a different tail than the others. I'm sorry, I like these kinds of tails too much. Now, Friesians originated in Finland, and they served as both work drafts and medieval war horses. These guys have gorgeously wavy curly manes and tails, a strong high-set neck, and lovely feathering on their legs. I think they're the most expensive horse in the world. The dark Friesian coat is wonderfully complemented with purple undertones and highlights. I gave this Friesian a strong curved horn that reflects its war breed past. I still think it would have been awesome to see a Friesian tearing through battle, a knight atop it, sword arcing through the air, as his mount plunges forward with a blade-enforced horn. What a sight. Might have to draw it. Why don't we have more battle unicorns and knights in medieval fantasy? I think that officially does it for my favorite breeds. Tell me, which one was your favorite? Do you have a horse that you'd like to see as a unicorn? Please like and subscribe if you think we should see more cool war unicorns or culturally inspired unicorns in our medieval fantasy media. Oh, and if you have name suggestions for these beauties, comment them below.